Let me introduce the design team of Colwell, Shelor, West 8, and Weedle Gilmore.
We are at the end of the night. My name is Michelle Shelor, and this is my business partner, Allison Colwell, and we are with Colwell Shelor Landscape Architecture, and we are leading this project. We have Jamie Maslin with West 8, and she is our lead designer, and Philip Weddle with Weddle Gilmore, and he is handling the architecture component of this project. And this is our team. This is a project with great ambition and is a potential catalyst for activation and redevelopment in the downtown area. And we believe that this is the primary mission for this project. We assembled a strong design team to what we believe to achieve this project. And we took the competition seriously. We have economists, program activators, as well as a strong design team. Our firm and Weddle Gilmore, we're based here in the Valley, and we've built great public spaces here. So we really understand the challenges as well as the opportunities to build a project like this in the desert. And West 8, they are based in New York and the Netherlands, and they understand what it takes to create great, dynamic urban spaces that transform cities around the world. So right from the beginning, we knew we needed to establish a relationship with the residents, the business owners, city staff, so we could understand what their values and goals were for this project so we could implement those ideas into our design. And Allison's going to talk a little bit about that process right now.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so we understand that a successful public input process has two main components. And the first of that is to get feedback to help form the design. And the second is to build constituency. And both of these ultimately are required to make a project a success. We created a very fun and interactive public input process. We sought input from many diverse perspectives that included city leadership and staff, citizens, and downtown business owners. We performed six activities with over 100 people over 2 days. And this activity was designed to allow participants to express their priorities for their city center in a very fun way, and this was a game board. Okay, so we, after gathering all the data, we performed a comprehensive analysis to really understand everything that we learned. We looked at, we got lots of comments, we listened to videos, we performed interviews, we just did a lot of research. And we took a very scientific approach to analyzing this data because we wanted a measurable metrics upon which to base the design and also to make sure that we are meeting all of your priorities. To build constituency, we broadened the process beyond those workshops. We created a series of platforms for citizens to share their ideas and also to try to reach a larger community to those that couldn't come to the workshops. We created a project website and used social media such as Twitter and Facebook to allow more dialogue, and we will continue to use these methods throughout the design process to keep building community support and keep that feedback coming. Okay, so are you ready for the fun part? Now Jamie is going to show you how the data that we received informed the design.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to delay that big reveal just a teensy bit longer because I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how the historical development of Mesa informed our thinking and approach to the project. So this is Mesa in the very early years, 1 square mile. And this is where the city center project would be if it was built back then. Over time, in the early years, about the first 60 years, Mesa grew pretty slow, but then rapidly grew to be the large space that is today, actually over 150 times larger than that first square mile. And this project is really setting the stage for the next maybe century of redevelopment in Mesa, which is going to focus back on its historic core, its downtown. And this project is meant to be a very big instigator in that revitalization. In this context, we felt very strongly that the city was doing the right thing in that focusing on downtowns is a very important move to make a vibrant community, because all vibrant communities have vibrant downtowns. And also, sorry, just forgot my train of thought. It also makes an important regional destination. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about was the size of the city center site. At 18 acres, it is large, but given the size of Mesa, it's not too big. And it's, in fact, it's anything smaller we think would diminish the opportunity to have a grand civic space that Mesa deserves. So we really wanted to, as designers, come away with two primary goals here when we approached the design of the project. One is we really felt the design needed to be made for all Masons. It's a big area, it's a diverse community, and everyone should feel welcome and invited here. The second thing is that we felt that the project really needed to announce to the region that Mesa is a center for innovation, for arts, and community. And that announcement will really put focus towards the revitalization of downtown. So this is another big city. This is Central Park in New York, where I live. And what a lot of you may not know is that when Central Park was built, there was not much development around it. And the city built this big park, and over time, development grew right to its edges. Central Park is big at 834 acres, but it's also full of wonderful, relaxing spaces that make it feel intimate and fun and a place you go to again and again. We started looking at these precedents around the country, and this is a time-tested model. This idea of a green heart, a civic heart in the downtown is not only for metropolitan areas, but for all cities of all sizes. And we began to feel very confident that this time-tested model was the right model for us to approach the design of Mesa City Center, where you make a strong town square and the city develops up around its perimeter. So for Mesa, we knew that you had additional comments and additional feedback and goals that would really make this not just another park, but really a new town square. So we started calling it a town square with a twist, and that twist is unique to Mesa. So as we began starting the design process, we had to really focus on the existing conditions. And one thing that we couldn't walk away from and because it takes up 40% of the site is parking. But we know with light rail coming to the front door here on Main Street, we have an opportunity to make a less car-dependent experience and a more walkable neighborhood. So we really tackled parking right at the beginning. And our design has no parking on site or under the site. And that's because we really felt that the experience, again, needed to be green and friendly and without pedestrian conflicts, but also the cost of parking, it can be very expensive. And we wanted all of that investment to be in experiences that you could have in the Civic Center. So we managed to squeeze in a lot of parking by reorganizing the perimeter streets, about almost 400 spaces just around the city block. An additional almost 2,000 spaces within a half block around that. And then within a 10-minute walk, you're not going to believe this, another 3,000 spaces nearby. So we didn't really feel like parking was needed to be on site. And we're really thrilled to have it all taken care of off-site. The next element that we had to take care of was the existing buildings on the site. And this was challenging because there was, not everybody thought these were beautiful structures. Not everybody was in love with them, and there was some real conversations about the value of these buildings. But we took a really pragmatic approach. First of all, we did demo the existing corner building right at City Hall so that we can open up access into the site off of Main Street. But then we decided to go to marry two objectives with a primary goal of the public input, which is to bring early activation here with food and drinks. So we decided to adaptively reuse these structures. Here's an example of 55 North Center, where you can see that it's closed off and facing a parking lot today with very simple moves and low cost. This can be almost overnight. You can get your beer garden, which was a very high-ranking request from the community. We also want to note that this again, is a pragmatic approach. It'll come much faster and much cheaper than new construction would. So with light rail coming to the Main Street here, we really felt like this could be a great opportunity to use City Center to stitch the project to all of the assets in and around here. We also felt very strongly that, and this is going to sound a little redundant, but Main Street is Mesa's Main Street. We didn't want to create a competition to its downtown. We wanted to have all of our design reinforce the great downtown that exists and focus all the revitalization and any investment from the private sector into your Main Street, into your downtown. So walkable streets and access to and through the site was a primary focus of our design. And this is a view of an existing connection looking from north to south. And in the future, you're going to have straight connections right through Convention Center to Main Street to the Arts Center here. It'll be free, it'll be open, it'll be beautiful, it'll be inviting. Here's another view looking, if you walk out today, walk north, this is what you'd see today. But in the future, if you hop off light rail, you'll have a safe passage that you can get into the heart of City Center or go right to downtown. And this will really be a jumping off point to your evening in downtown. So every corner and every edge, every mid-block is really focused in the design to make a welcoming and inviting access. And why are we focusing so much on walkability and simple things like shade? Because your number one choice, as Allison was talking about, the number one choice from the community of all the requests here was a leisure promenade. So we think this is just wonderful because it is the most simple thing to have just a place where you walk and sit and watch the action. That was the number one request from the community. And this is a project of ours in Madrid. And we know how to develop successful promenades. And it's really, like I said, straightforward, no gimmicks. All we need is comfortable seating, shade, right along the main access to and through the park. So we've delivered your leisure promenade that winds through the project. And here's a view as it's next to an events plaza. It's perched just slightly above it. There's comfortable seating, there's shade, and it's gonna be, I guarantee it, one of the most popular things to do is just sit here and watch all the action. So shade, this was another top request from you. This is a harsh climate, especially like days like today. So we planted a continuous canopy of over 500 shade trees here. We're really proud of that fact. Every nook and cranny is full of shade. And this is how it might look when it's planted. We're aware you're not going to have shade on day one, but in no time, between a mix of shade and deciduous trees, evergreen and deciduous trees, you'll have a shady walk in the summer months, but also, because some of these will be deciduous, you'll have opportunities to sit in the sun in the winter, because we know it does get cold here. It's going to be a beautiful year-round display of color and really celebrate the beauty of the Sonoran Desert. So you will want to bring your friends here to show them just the splendor of the desert botanic experience here in Mesa. But we know that trees take time to grow, and so we also have another layer of shade that delivers shade on day one, and this is in permanent structures. And we have actually over an acre of permanent shade here on day one. This is a section showing the largest shade structure, and it actually is more than providing shade. It actually integrates a very simple technology. In fact, it's not even technology. It's just a very simple technique of a passive evaporative cooling tower, which will actually cool the plaza by 15 degrees. And this is developed all over arid regions in the world and in the Grand Canyon. I think a lot of you have even told us tonight you've experienced the cooling pleasure of this system. Now, the design of the shade structure is based around the beauty and artistry of the fabric movement of Ballet Folklorico. It is clad in copper, and it's going to, as the trees grow, patina and age over time in a beautiful way. And underneath the shade structure, this is really the events plaza for Mesa City Center. This seats thousands, and it's a very flexible space. It can be used for movies and concerts and some of your larger festivals. And it'll really extend the seasons here and make sitting and relaxing here much more enjoyable. This is your beacon. What we call the wind dancer, is really going to be what draws people and bring your friends and family here from around the valley. And this will be the place that people want to see when they come to the valley. They're going to say, we want to go see that wind dancer. Now, the last piece was to underpin this design with lots of lively, active places that you can enjoy every single day. So we created an events calendar that really extends 24-hour, 7-day-a-week activation. And our idea was that you wouldn't need to go to the internet to find out what's going on. You just knew something was going on. So there's lots of nooks and crannies of fun programming and simple lawns that are very flexible for concerts, for markets. We were really inspired by the neon. Everybody knew when you saw the neon signs in Mesa, you knew you arrived. So we wanted to have an homage to this neon experience by creating a neon plaza with LED lights. And in the early years, and this will be really fun to use food trucks to have great food and expanding the food and drink opportunities here. The main central gathering space is the events plaza, and there we'll have the wind dancer, the leisure promenade. It's right at the edge, so you can see all the action, and there's a beautiful water feature that allows you to get cool and splash and play and have fun. And in the wintertime, this fountain becomes an ice skating rink. We thought of all sorts of seasons of enjoyment here, and this will really be a part of the tradition of coming to Civic Center every year. This is a great place to expand play, and not just play for children, but play for people of all ages. So we have a lot of fun, delightful things to do within the project as well. So this is your Mesa City Center. We're really very grateful for your ideas. We've integrated all of your comments, and now I'm going to hand it over to Phil, who will show you how we're going to make this happen.
Thank you, Jamie. So making it happen. Obviously, I think what we've presented tonight is a very ambitious plan, but we think because of that, it is even more important that as as the design team, we're doing more than just designing the city center. We're actually working through some of the really critical strategic issues to make it happen. How do we implement this project? So as our team, we felt one of our mottos was dream big, rooted in reality. And we think that that's really key for this project so that it's not just a master plan that goes on the shelf. We are all about implementation and making it happen. So to start with that, we have tried to develop a strategy that is very cost effective. And there's kind of three key components to that. First, as Jamie mentioned, related to parking. Underground parking can cost up to or higher than $30,000 a parking stall. Rather than investing in subgrade parking garages, we have really maximized the potential of street parking and the existing parking that surrounds the site. That allows us to put more money back into the Civic Plaza. Secondly, adaptive reuse. We are not proposing significant new buildings on the site. We're really looking to leverage the assets that the city has and making the most of the 4 civic buildings that we have on the site. So we are proposing to use all of those buildings going forward. And third, looking at phasing. We believe with this cost-effective strategy, this can be implemented in one phase. The city center could be completed in one phase, which means that city center is not living in a construction zone for decades to come. It can become an active and vibrant part of your community immediately. So as an example of that, this is the City Hall, the existing City Hall building, which we're proposing to reskin. We're retaining the existing structure, but we're reskinning it so it's a more energy efficient structure. It has a more civic character to it. And we're looking to repurpose the ground level to bring more kind of community activation into the ground level so that it's a more interactive space that engages the Civic Center in a more prominent way. This is actually the sky terrace of City Hall, where we're creating an outdoor room, and we have a PV solar canopy that shades this space that generates energy for the City Center project, but it creates a kind of grand room on the roof of City Hall that could be used for a wide range of community events and functions. We really think that Mesa City Center has to be a place for all to be successful. It has to provide a wide range that really looks at the diversity of different types of activities that the community is interested in. Catalyzing development. I think as Michelle mentioned in our introduction, we think that's really one of the kind of key elements for this project. How is it going to catalyze development in downtown? And we have kind of 3 different strategies that we think are key to catalyzing redevelopment of downtown. First, invest in creating a signature civic space. That is what makes this space a regional draw that is going to bring visitors and residents into downtown. If you don't do that, then we've missed it. Secondly, how do we leverage Main Street? As Jamie said, it is the grand street of Mesa. We need to leverage connections to Main Street so that we're not competing with Main Street, we're working in unison with Main Street. And then lastly, looking at how we can kind of catalyze infill development around the site. I think some of the images that she showed of the kind of traditional town square models, it's a proven model, and we believe that that is the model that will work for Mesa. Lastly, community identity. Great civic spaces play a really prominent role in shaping civic identity. If you think about Millennium Park in Chicago, it wasn't that long ago that Millennium Park was built, but it's already kind of woven itself into the identity of Chicago. It is a must-see destination when you go to Chicago. Mesa City Center should be that space for Mesa. We think that this project has the potential to be an economic and cultural heart for the city of Mesa. It has the opportunity to create an iconic identity for Mesa, and we think that that's really what the project deserves to be. And with that, we would like to take you for a walk through your city center.
To start the design, our team developed 5 key design principles based on input from the community and goals provided by the city staff and leaders. Friendly, walkable streets activate and enliven downtowns. Our design has a green network of paths and places, bike lanes, expanded parking, welcoming entrances, and direct connections to light rail. These will naturally channel the flow of people through city center to nearby destinations. Projects like Millennium Park in Chicago demonstrate that people want a wow or icon that sets a place apart from the ordinary. Mesa needs its own icon, or even icons, that will make city center the must-see destination when visiting the valley. The top request from the community was shade. To make an inviting space on day one, city center needs to deliver shade on day one. But trees take time to grow, so we created a 3-pronged shade strategy. Retain the valuable shade trees already on site, plant a diverse canopy of over 500 new shade trees, and build permanent shade structures that make the project a shady destination on day one. Mesa already has great events downtown, and City Center will be the setting for these events in the future. But the community also wants things to see and do every day and every night. Activities like grabbing a bite to eat, cooling down by a water feature, watching a movie under the stars, or checking out a farmer's market. Our goal was to make a place where there's always something going on. The design should be bold, but it also needs to be anchored in reality. Our design is based on a time-tested town square model that has proven to stimulate redevelopment. Our design builds the project in a single phase and doesn't rely on private development to make it active. We also have a sensible approach to reinvigorating existing buildings to avoid expensive demolition costs. CSLA, West State, and Weddell Gilmore's design for Mesa City Center will feel like a lively downtown hub and be an alluring public place. Its features and icons will make City Center a new landmark and destination. People will be drawn to and through City Center with inviting walkways, artwork, and shady streetscapes. Arriving to City Hall will be a dignified experience and have a strong connection to downtown. Every edge and path is designed to be welcoming and friendly. The community asks for a comfortable place to just sit back and watch the action. The Leisure Promenade connects the events plaza and upper terrace with a shady linear path and ample seating that is perched above the plaza level for great viewing. The Events Plaza is the central gathering space of the project. This is where all the major events will happen. The centerpiece and icon of the project, the Wind Dancer, is a beautiful copper shade structure, which expands the plaza's use to year-round. The Wind Dancer is inspired by the elegant dancing of Ballet Folklorico and conveys an illusion of fabric swayed by a soft breeze. Inside the structure is a passive evaporative cooling tower that actually cools the plaza by 15 degrees. Nearby, a custom interactive water feature celebrates both the preciousness and playfulness of water. In the wintertime, the fountain becomes an ice skating rink for seasonal fun. The upper terrace is lifted above the elevation of the events plaza, giving a sense of prospect over the city. It has a relaxing, garden-like feel. On the repurposed buildings on site, new food and drink venues are provided on the ground floors, with outdoor terraces that link to the public spaces. Our renovated City Hall stands proud, with a new coffee shop and has a publicly accessible rooftop sky lounge for events and watching the sunset. The City Center design delivers on the project's multiple goals, creating the city's green heart that will be a catalyst for the next decades of urban growth in downtown Mesa.
Thank you all for coming out tonight and for all your valuable input during our design process. We have created a bold vision for the Mesa City Center that's deeply rooted in the community and it's achievable now. And we've created a unique destination for downtown Mesa and for all. And this is your Mesa City Center. Thank you.